This conference will now be recorded.
Good evening and good morning, one and all. Sorry for breaks actually. Okay. We will start the session. Okay, we were discussing something about control statements. Okay, control statements are simply nothing but which helps to guide the flow of the program, how it should be executed. Okay, how it should be executed in the sense which part of the program should be executed and which part of the program should be skipped while executing. Why? Because if all the programs are if all the programs have been if all the parts of the program have been executed, then it becomes little bit difficult for the uh, compiler to execute all the tasks, and it will take more time. Okay, so what this control statement will do is actually it will help in executing which part of the statements, which part of the program should be executed to get the result. Okay, the example is like we have seen something like this one. Okay, now in general, if you people are going to stand, or if you people are going to sit, okay, you people are going to do something. Okay, but you can do many things by sitting, you can do many things by standing. Okay, there will be certain things that needs to be done when you are sitting or when you are standing. So that particular things will alone be performed by the human being, and it will be controlled by your brain. Similarly, in a program many statements will be there. That particular program will be helpful to execute many things that can perform many executions, many actions, but only few actions are needed for that particular execution. So these control statements will help us in executing the program fast. Okay, we have seen the selection structure actually. Okay, what is the selection structure is if one thing is going to pass, if something needs to be performed, what we need to do is like if that particular condition is going to be satisfied, we can go and we can solve that particular thing. If it is not going to be satisfied, then there is no use in executing that particular statement. So if we take some small example, okay, uh, what can we discuss? Okay, a student is going to write examination for his higher studies. Okay, if he is going to clear that particular examination, no doubt that he is going to get admission, so that he can right away go and buy his need, whatever that is needed to whatever that is needed to start his career in his new college or new school or wherever it might be. Okay, if he is not going to get admission, if he is not going to clear the examination, then there is no use in buying all those things, right? So what he can do again is he can again try to clear that particular examination. In that way, if something is going to be happening, like if it is going to rain, what a human being is going to do is he will take an umbrella and he will start his activities. If it is not going to rain, what he will do is he will simply wear a sunscreen and he will start his work doing. Okay, means if he wants to go out, he will look outside. That if it is raining, he will take an umbrella and he will move outside. If it is not raining, what he will do is he will wear a sunscreen and he will move outside. That's it. Okay, there are few control statements like if statement, okay, if else statement, else if statement, okay, switch statement, while statement, do while statement. There are many statements, control statements available in our C programming language that could control our program flow in the execution. Okay, we have already seen these things. Okay. We will start with some sample. We have already seen this in our last class. Okay, like if a is less than b or if a is greater than b, we are going to print the numbers. Okay, we have seen it with the help of if statement. We will see that in the we have the program slide so that you can understand. Okay, what happens here is this is a program for a simple if statement. Okay, here what we are doing here is we are declaring variable a and variable b. Okay, in this variable a and variable b, we are passing some values 10 and 20 such that we are going to check the values of a and b, and we are going to print statements accordingly by solving these conditions according to the values what we have passed in the beginning. Okay, initially we have passed a equal to 10 and b equal to 20. That is fixed. We are not going to change. Okay, if a value is going to be bigger and b value is smaller than a, then this particular statement will be executed. If it is going to fail, it is going to check this condition. If this is going to be, if this is going to be passed or if this is going to be true, then this particular statement is going to be executed. Now a equal to 10 and b equal to 20. So here b value is greater than a. So b is 20 and a is 10, right? So this particular statement will be true and this particular statement will be displayed. Okay, this is what the simple if program is. Next one is if else. If else syntax would be like this. It is again similar to if statement. Okay, but the simple difference here is that we can check either this one or that one. Only that condition, within those two conditions only we can check. Okay, not like many ifs can be included. If we are going to check one condition, if that condition is going to fail, another condition should obviously be true. Okay, now we can say like and there are only two things that are going to happen in life. It should be either a day or night. Okay, they cannot be like it cannot be like mixed like a day night and all. It cannot be like that. So it should be either a daytime or it should be either nighttime. That's it. Okay, so if that one condition is failed, else should be the correct one. If condition is correct, else should be the wrong one. That should be the case. Okay, so if it is true, he is passed. If he is false, he is failed. Means if a student is going to get more than 60%, he is pass. If he's going to score 59.9, we can't say that he has just I mean he has just failed by 0.01 marks. We can't say like that. We can simply say he is failed. That's it. We can't say more than other. We can say other than that. So he is failed or he is passed. That's it. So here the same example again. Okay, we are going to check the first condition. If a is greater than b, we are going to print it. If this condition is going to fail, obviously b value will be greater. That is what this else statement will say. So be clear in that. If statement is going to fail, obviously else statement should be true. Okay, if else statement is fail, if else statement is false, then if statement should be true. Either of the statements, any of the statement, any one of the statement of this if or else should be true. Okay, we can't write more if else statements. We can't continue this. Next one is else if statement. the syntax will be like this. If condition followed by else if, we can write any number of else if statements. There is no limit that we should write only these many number of else if statements. Okay, we can check n number of conditions if we want to execute a condition. Okay, here we can take this example. We are going to take a b c. We are going to take three values here. If we are going to take two values, we can check either it should be greater or less than. If we are going to take more than two values, obviously the conditions, the number of conditions are going to increase. Okay. In that situation, this else if statements will be helpful for us to check the conditions and display the results. Okay, now see this program. Okay. If a b c we are having, and if we are going to pass three values, if we are going to check a and b condition, if a value is greater than b, okay, then only this particular if statement will be executed. If b value is greater than a, this particular if statement will be skipped and it will go to else if. Okay, here it will check a is greater than c. If it is going to pass, this particular statement is going to be executed. If this is going to be true, if this is going to be executed. If all the statements are going to fail, finally this statement should be true and this particular statement will be executed. Okay, switch case statement. Switch case statement is another extension of if else if control statements. Okay, and that this switch statements are used to write if we are going to have more conditions to check while doing our execution part. Okay, the switch case statements are also are called as a case statement, is a multi-way branch with several choices. What we are going to do here is that if we are going to give our choice in the runtime and we want to execute it, in that situations this switch case statements will be useful. Okay, and this switch is a keyword. Switch case statement is a keyword and it is easier to implement than a series of if else statements. Okay, each label must equate to an integer constant and each must be unique. So what we must observe here is we are going to write different conditions in the switch statements. Okay, here switch statements should be unique in the sense that they must not be same, they must be different. If they are going to same, then it is going to be getting complicated for the compiler and it will throw you an error. So we will see the syntax and we will try to perform some program. Okay. When the switch statement execute, it compares the value of the controlling expression to the value of the case label. This is how the syntax will be. Switch, the keyword switch will be used and the condition will be here or input will be here. Okay, and we are going to write the inputs what we are going, and it will be matched here, and the statement what should be executed will be here, and we are going to write some sort of break statement, break keyword here to come out of this particular loop. Okay, if this statement is correct, the statement will come out from this switch statement and it will execute the rest of the statements. Okay, outside the switch. Okay, if this is if none of the statements are going to be true, default statement will be executed. Okay, we will see a small program and we will see this flowchart and we will understand. Okay, this is what label 1 is simply case 1, label 2 is case 2, like that. Case 1, if case 1 is going to be true, statement 1 will be executed. Okay, and it will come out to this particular thing and it will be executed. Means like this, control will come and it will go out and it will come like this. Okay, if case 2 is going to be true, it will come like this and it will go to this particular exit. Okay, this is what actually a flow chart is. You will learn about this flow chart in your engineering. Okay, if we want to discuss about this flow chart and all, it will take more time for us to understand. Okay, in general, if we want to know what actually a flow chart is, flow chart is simply nothing but it is a pictorial representation of the program. Okay, this is what the program is. We have shown the program in a image form. That is what actually the flow chart is. So these are the conditions. If any condition is going to be true, that particular statement will be executed and it will come out of the loop or switch and it will start executing the process. Okay, we will see this program. Now, this is a program to display uh, the day of that particular number. Okay, for example, there are 7 days in a week. Okay, day one is Monday, day two is a Tuesday, day three is Wednesday, day four is Thursday, day five Friday, day six Saturday, and day seven again Sunday. Okay, now if you would like to know which day is which day number is which day. For example, if I type simply 4, I should get a Thursday. Okay, if I press 1, I should get Monday, like that. Okay, we will see the small program so that you can understand. Okay, int day. I am declaring the variable day as integer. Why? Because I am going to enter only the numbers here, not more than that. So no need to worry. Okay. Enter day number. I must take some sort of input, right? So I'm using a scanf statement, percentage %d ampersand day. Okay. Now what is happening is I am taking the input of number in the day variable. Okay. Now I am writing the switch statement. Case 1. Okay, if I press 1 number, what should be the thing? It should print Monday. Case 2 is like okay. Case 4. case 5. I have done a mistake here. I didn't give this. Now it's okay. Case 7. Sunday. Okay, now we need to write a statement here. Enter correct number. Okay, I will end the switch case statement and I will write the final statement what we were using to execute it, and I will compile it now. I got some error. Okay, extra one. Fine. We will explain the program now and we will do the execution part. Okay. We know what we have did here. We have declared a variable day of integer data type. Okay, and I have taken a input. Okay, I am going to take the inputs of the screen. What I am doing here is I am going to simply pass this variable here in the switch statement, and it is going to be compared here. Okay, and if the number is going to be matched, that particular statement is going to be executed. Okay, and I have written some last default statement. If I type the number 1 to 7, it is going to display these statements. If I type 8 or if I type 9 or if I type 10, this particular statement will be executed. Enter correct number. Okay, we will see the execution now. Okay, I will enter the number. Okay, 2. It is Tuesday. Okay, 1 second. It is asking me to enter the day, right? Day, I mean number. I will enter 3. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. It is 3rd. Okay, 3. So it is displaying Wednesday. Fine. If I press 6, Saturday, right? So it is 6. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. It is 6. Now if I press 8, what it should display? Enter correct number. So for this reason, I have written a default statement. If none of the number is matching, this particular default statement will be executed. Okay, if the number is matching, then that particular statement will be executed. If none of the statements are going to match, then it is going to display the default statement that is behind it. Okay, so if it is like any number that you want, not only like 8 or 9, I will enter 52. See, it is throwing me the same number. Enter correct number. If I enter the numbers from 1 to 7, it will show me the correct result. Okay, for this purpose, we are going to use the switch case statements. Okay, this is the same program what we have typed now. Okay, next one is we are going to check the addition subtraction, multiplication, division, and a remainder of a certain two numbers. If we want to check the two numbers, and if we want to take the two numbers as integers, and if we want to display addition result of two numbers, if we type plus, we should get the result. If we type minus, we should get the subtraction result. If we press into, we should get the multiplication result. If we press division, we must get the division result. If we press a reminder like percentage, we must get the reminder. Okay, there are few things that should be uh, understood, and we must give the input. If none of the if some other person doesn't understand, if he gives some wrong input, then this particular default statement will be executed. Enter correct operator. Okay, there are only few operators: addition, subtraction, into, divided, and remainder, right? If some other person is going to enter like equal to, okay, we are not going to check with the equal to here, so it will throw us an error that to enter the correct operator so that I can evaluate and I can give you the result. It will display the result. Okay, and this is another program like to check the number of that particular month. Okay, first month is January. It is like a days in a week. First month is January, next February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December. And if the person who doesn't know if he is going to enter more than 12 number, and if he wants to see the result, then if the error will be thrown like enter correct month number or invalid month number, like that. Okay, and we should observe one thing here. Behind each and every statement, we are going to write a break. The use of this break statement is like if this particular statement is executed, this will come out of the loop. Okay, we will see this program execution again so that you can understand. Okay, now if I press 3, this Wednesday should be printed and the rest of the statement should be skipped, and it must show the result for the 3 number alone. So this will help us in executing. Okay, that is what our use of break statement in the program. Another thing you need to understand, this break statement can be written in the next line also. No need to write in the same line. Why? Because we have ended it with a semicolon, and this particular break statement can again be written in the next line. If not, you can write it in the same line. It is not a problem at all. Okay. Next, repetition. Repeat some actions over and over. If we are going to repeat some actions over and over, if we want to do the same thing again and again, then this repetition structure or this loop structure will be used. Okay, there are few things like while, okay, do while, and while syntax is this one. Okay, while while flow chart. Okay, and this is a do while loop statement, and this is the syntax, and this is the flow chart, and this is the for loop. Okay, we will see the for loop today, and we will finish the class, and we will see the while and do while statements tomorrow, so that it will be more meaningful. If I start the rest while and do while, it won't be clear. If we discuss about while and do while tomorrow, it will be clearer for you to understand what is the difference between while and do while. Okay, as of now, we will see the first statement today, and we will wind up the class. Okay, now int I comma n. Okay. I will pass the value 10 n for I equal to 1, I less than or equal to n, I plus plus. Okay, see, I will check for the errors. No error. I will execute it. What we are doing here is I am going to print the numbers from 1 to 10, and I am giving a tab space for each number when it is being printed. Sorry. See, I'm using CLRS here. See, 1 to 10 numbers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, what we are doing here is simply I am making this I variable to be printed again and again, okay, with the help of this for loop statement. Okay, what happens here in this for loop statement is we are having three things in or three parts in this for loop statement. Okay, this one is called as a initialization part. Okay, this part is called as condition part, and this part is called as a incremental part or decremental part. Okay, this initialization part is simply nothing but from which number the particular execution should start. Either it should start from 1, or either it should start from 100 or something like that. Okay, and what is this condition part? This condition part is going to denote till which number this particular for loop statement should work. Okay, and we have given the number n equal to 10 here above. Okay, if not, we can directly give the number here also. Instead of n, we can give 5 also. It is not at all a problem. Okay, and but I will give it like this for my convenience so that I can understand it more clearly. Okay, and this part is called as incremental part. Incremental part is simply nothing but the I value should be incremented after each execution. After each print statement, it should be incremented by 1, and again that I value should be printed. Okay, that is what. So this is what the result is actually. Okay, now we will see one new thing today. Okay, we are going to have something called as a trace into. What does this trace into will help us is this trace into or trace function will help us in showing how many times does this for loop will execute. Okay, now this is what the shortcut is like F7. Okay, F7. I will press F7 continuously again and again. Now the control is like it is checking whether the program is present, whether the main function is present or not. The compiler is checking now. So it is showing the blinker there. Next again I'm pressing F7. So or it is not working, okay, in my keyboard. Okay, you can press simply F7. Okay, the next statement will be executed, and it will, you must give the input, or if not, it will keep on execute. Okay, you try in your systems and you let me know if it is working or not. Okay, let me check again once again. Yes, it is working now. I'm having some issue in my keyboard. Okay, now it has come to the clear screen, and now it is checking for the for loop condition. Now first time the print statement is executed. Next, again. Finally, the get statement is executed. Means I have pressed 10 times F7 now. Why? Because that many times this for loop has been executed, and the result would be this one. Now I didn't press Control F9. Okay, I have simply pressed F7. Okay, the main condition is being verified. Next, it will check for the variables. Next, it will check for the clear screen. Next, it will come for the for loop. Next, print statement. Next, again 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Fine. 10 times it is executed, and the loop has been exited, and it has come to get ch. Okay. Next, again F7. The result will be this. Okay. That is what we should know. Okay, do one thing, you simply type the program. Okay, and you go to run, and you press trace info, alt or trace info, and press F7. You will get the result. Okay, if it doesn't work for you, I will try to say it to you again tomorrow in the class. Okay, let's wind up the class for today. Okay, I'm having some other emergency work. Thank you for understanding. We will meet tomorrow sharply at 7 p.m. Thank you.